let's talk about another subject that is also very dear to our heart. It's the Pink Month. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October is an especially important month because it's a time of year when people give attention to this devastating disease called breast cancer. You may know someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, or you have faced this disease personally. We also want to hear your personal stories in this month. So you can send me a message if you think whatever story you have can inspire others. It will be good to hear what you also have to say. But through it all, there are stories of hope, patients who press on and continue to greet each day and each round of treatment with a smile, survivors who are learning to make the most of a new normal after cancer, and loved ones lost who left beautiful legacies in our hearts and memories. Those are the stories that we want to celebrate in this month of October. And we also want to do is to inspire ourselves so that in the end we can also keep checking, and every year we keep teaching the men how to check. Straight away, my guest is Dr. Na Adoko Aite. She's a specialist radiation oncologist from the National Center for Radiotherapy and Nuclear Medicine, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Let me also remind you that our conversation will be every Monday in the month of October. Okay, so and our conversations are brought to you in conjunction with breast cancer or breast surgical units, Kolebu Teaching Hospital. You can better put it for me. I know that I'm missing something here. Good morning to you. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, sure. And it's good that we're doing this together. But first of all, maybe the basics. What should we know about breast cancer?
Okay, so I always like to start by describing how the human body works.
Okay.
Because once you know that, then you can understand how cancer comes about.
Sure.
I know most people are aware that the human body is made up of cells. And usually, the cell has rules it obeys. Most cells will grow, die, and new ones will take over. However, sometimes you can have some abnormalities. And these cells will continue to grow and not respect the usual rules of dying and allow new ones to come. What happens then is that you have an uncontrollable abnormal growth of cells. Usually, these cells will stay where they started, and that's not a problem, because once you take those cells away, then the problem is solved. However, for cancer, these abnormally growing cells are able to move to other parts of the body in a process called metastasis. That's how cancer is a big problem, because the metastasis is what will usually cause death. So when we say breast cancer, it's basically abnormal growing cells in the breast which have the ability to go to other parts of the body.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that triggers this?
So we don't know what the particular cause of breast cancer is. However, we know there are certain risk factors. And risk factors are situations or characteristics that will increase your chances of getting breast cancer. Some of them are modifiable, so you can do something about it to change your risk, and some are not. I'll start with the ones that are not modifiable. Being a woman, there isn't too much you can do about that. 99% of breast cancers occur in women.
That's why they say it's most commonest in women.
Exactly. Only 1% of diagnosed breast cancer is in men. So being a female is a risk factor. Okay. When you have your period, and how long it takes for you to end your period, is also a risk factor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have a family history of breast cancer, you have an increased risk of having breast cancer. When you have your first child, or whether you have a child at all, it's also a risk factor. The later you have your first child, the higher your risk of getting breast cancer. And then we have the modifiable ones like your weight and lack of exercise, the food you eat, all of those things. So basically those are the risk factors for
so those are the ones that you can control if you like.
Exactly, yes. Eating well, exercising, even if it's a walk, a brisk walk in the morning. There's evidence that nearly 30% of cancers are reduced if you eat well, if you exercise, and if you avoid alcohol and smoking.
So when you said being a woman, And then the other things you said about the menstruation, I mean, that's also still being a woman because there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
So is it the longer you menstruate or the shorter?
The longer you menstruate. So if you have your first period early and you have your menopause much later, the period for your breast to be exposed to a female hormone called estrogen is longer. So that increases your risk of getting breast cancer.
Okay. But if it's breast cancer is the most common in women, is it also killing a lot more women?
Oh, yes. We don't have a lot of data, like population data. However, WHO has a lot of estimates. And the suggestion is that about 2,000 new cases are diagnosed every year in Ghana. We know it could be more because not all of them are recorded, right? And about 1,000 of these women die. That's 50%. That's much too much compared to, yes. And it could even be more because there are people who don't even come to us, you know. And it's not right because elsewhere, breast cancer is diagnosed early, and so people don't die so much from breast cancer.
Let's talk about this 1% in men. How does it look like?
Well, the presentation for breast cancer, whether in a man or a woman, is about the same.
Okay.
It's just that the man's breast is smaller, so you need to be more aware to find there's something wrong. But usually there will be a lump in the breast, painless. I always say if breast cancer was painful, maybe people will come in to us earlier. However, it's usually a painless lump in the breast. And in men, because the breast is so small, it easily becomes ulcerated. So basically that.
So is it the same symptoms for men as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Same symptoms.
Same symptoms.
A lump that eventually becomes painful. Note, it's usually not painful in the beginning.
Okay. Is it also same as women in terms of we don't know any known cause per se?
It's basically the same. It's just that for men, we know that there are some genetic predispositions for male breast cancer. Yes. Okay. So a man who has breast cancer is more likely to have a genetic abnormality. Yes.
All right. Let's talk about Kolebu, where you work, because you certainly do have specific statistics to share. How does it look like?
We do. So we see about 400 new cases, somewhere between 400 and 500 new cases every year.
Kolebu alone?
Kolebu alone. And when we say Kolebu, we don't mean Accra, because you know there's Rage, there's Police Hospital, there's 37.
The people who have been referred.
Yes.
To Kolebu as well.
The people who have been referred, we see about 400 new cases every year.
What stage? Because I've heard, I think in the past, we're told, oh, people don't report early. Is it still the same?
Unfortunately, that is the case. And that's why this month we really are saying that you should have a look at your breast, know your breast, and come to us if you find anything abnormal. Most of our patients come to us with very advanced disease. And the problem with advanced disease is that the chances of you living for longer after you've been diagnosed is much slimmer. If we find you with an early stage, say stage 1 to stage 2, more than 90% of the people are alive in 5 years. However, if you come to us with stage 3 disease, you are looking somewhere around 70%. And then for stage 4, you are looking at about 23%. You see, so the main reason why our outcomes are so bad is that our patients do not come to us early enough.
How many out of the 400 would die?
So close to about half of our patients come with advanced disease. So if you look at the statistics, that's
it's a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the challenge? Could it be that we're not checking it right?
We probably are not checking it. That's the first thing. And I keep saying this thing over and over again. I feel like I'm a broken record. But the reason why you would notice a new pimple on your face or a new black mark on your face is because every morning, sometimes for some people, afternoon, evening, you're looking at your face. So the moment there's an abnormality, you know it immediately. that is how well we should know our breasts. If you are aware of the feel of your breast, the look of your breast, then the moment there's an abnormality, you will notice it and you go and see the doctor about it. You understand?
But you're talking about something that is not normal, it's not painful as well. Does it make your breasts look bigger or feel bigger?
In the beginning, no. In the beginning, no. But the important thing is that you should have a feel of your breasts. All right? And once you have a feel of your breast, if you notice any discrete lump that didn't used to be there, it's a good time to go and see your doctor about it. Don't assume. The other thing that people assume a lot in Ghana is that if you have a lump, it's probably a boil. I do not know where that comes from. There's a lot of fixation on boils. Not every lump is a boil. And it's better to go and find out from the doctor. If it's a boil, it will be drained. If it's not a boil, then we can find out what it is, and then we can treat you.
But what kind of age? These about 400 women who are referred every year, do we know how old they are?
We do. And, you know, elsewhere in the world, it's a disease of older people. So the peak ages are around 55, about that. In Ghana, we see our patients a lot earlier. So between 40 and 49 years, that's the peak age. But I should state that we get people as young as 20-year-olds coming to us with breast cancer. Yes.
Wow. Is there... So this is not looking good for us.
But we can change the story. That's why I'm here today. Right now, it doesn't look that great. But we have so much... The sky is the limit right now. It's bad because we are not presenting early, we are not finding our patients early enough. It means that if you are able to find our patients early enough, then our outcomes will be so much better.
Okay.
And this month of October, we really, really want every female to just know your breast. That's the start. Know your breast so that if there's any abnormality, you would find it and come to the hospital.
Is there a particular time in the month where you can check and you can be sure if there's a certain growth you would know?
So usually around your period, your breast is tender. And then when you are ovulating as well, your breast may be tender. So those may not be the best times to examine your breast. So anytime after your period, say 10 days after your period, or a few days after your ovulation, that's a good time to examine your breast. And we advocate that you do that once a month. You can choose, say, a particular day in the month, say 21 days after my period, and check your breast every 21 days after your period.
Okay. I know that we'll be having this session throughout. Is there a particular point where you're going to teach us how to do it?
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
we want to do it using Roland Walker, my colleague, because, you know, he's curious.
No problem at all, yes.
Okay.
We will have.
But the men can certainly help the women do it.
And they should. Men should. I think, and especially for married couples, the men probably know their breast, their wives' breast better than the women do. So yes, the men should join us in this desire to know our breasts better. Yes.
Okay. So what should we do in this month of October? Somebody is watching us, hearing us talk about what breast cancer is, and you advocating for us to check. But what are the easiest things that you would say we should do?
Examine your breast every month. If you meet a female in this month of October, tell them about breast cancer. Just a greeting of "Have you checked your breast this month?" is enough.
Have you checked your breast this month?
If you see a female, do that. Ask them if they've had a feel of their breast.
So have you had a feel of your breast this month?
I have had a feel of my breast this month.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't, so
you should.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Okay. But finally, before we wrap up on this, let's talk about the risk factors again.
So, like I said previously, we have risk factors that are modifiable and those that are not, right? The modifiable ones you can do something about. Typically, your weight, the food you eat, whether or not you exercise. cigarette smoking, and alcohol taking. So if you reduce these, you can reduce your risk of getting breast cancer. The non-modifiable ones, being a female, growing, having early periods and late menopause, not having a child early enough, not having a child at all. Your family history, if you have a family member who has breast cancer, especially if it's a first degree, so your mom, for example, then your risk of breast cancer is high.
Can you prevent it at all?
So you have a 30% ability to prevent it by exercising, keeping
everybody.
a good, yes, everybody.
Okay.
Exercising, keeping a good weight, eating fruits and vegetables. And then there's another 30% chance of finding it early and curing it. The rest of the 40%, that's when you should be praying.
God help us all. But as you're launching this at Korle Bu?
We are today at 9:30. Our guest of honor is the First Lady of the country.
Okay.
We are launching our breast cancer awareness month.
Okay.
If you have a chance, you should pass by Korle Bu this morning.
Are you doing free screening or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. At the surgical unit every day from 3 to 4 throughout the month of October. You can walk in and we'll examine you. There's also the breast clinic at the radiotherapy unit of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital on Tuesday afternoons at 2.
But that's not free.
That isn't free. However, the one at surgical unit from 3 to 4 is free. But it's not even expensive. I think it's about 25 cedis or so.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you would have a professional examine you.
Exactly. You have a doctor examine you.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we'll leave the rest of the conversation. Every day on the show we have our breast cancer moment as well, where we share something with everybody else. So I guess from tomorrow, my greeting will be: have you checked your breast? Have you had a feel of your breast?
Great.
This month. So in the absence of anything more that you want to add, I'd like to say thank you.
Well, I would like to say thank you to some of our sponsors and our partners. They've been really helpful. So we are partnering with some other hospitals: Ridge Hospital, Accra Regional Hospital, CNJ, Sonotech, Legon 37 Military Hospital, La Paz Community Hospital, LECMA, Leicester Hospital, Korle Bu Breast Center, of course, CAF Breast Cancer, Whole Regional Hospital, Nyaho Medical Center, Tema General Hospital, and Inkum Hospital. And we also have some reductions for mammograms and breast scans. If you go to Paradise Diagnostics, you have a 50% discount for your mammogram or your breast scan. CNG as well does a discount. Sonotech Usu, you have a discount of 50%.
But it's all in the month of October.
Yes, in the month of October.
All right.
Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, there's no discount. However, you can come into the radiology unit even without a request, and a mammogram will be done for you.
Okay.
Our sponsors are Dufour Foundation, Type Company Limited, Prudential Life Insurance, AstraZeneca, Beige Foundation, Leicester Hospital and Fertility Center, Roche Products Ghana, CNJ Medicare Hospital, La Paz Community Hospital, Paradise Diagnostic Center.
That's a very tall list.
Yes.
Okay.
Health and Safety TV and Hedge Ghana. We are really grateful for your support.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming through today, and we're looking forward to doing this every Monday here on the show. Now, here's our breast cancer moment as we started the show this morning. Early detection and effective treatment of breast cancer save lives. So, early detection and effective treatment of breast cancer save lives. Make sure you remember that. Stay with us. It's the AM show.